A triple conjunction in the sign of Capricorn. Yes, you've heard it right. The Sun, Venus, and Mars are all gonna align at 19 degrees of Capricorn. So if you're one of the cardinal signs, which is of course Aries, Libra, Cancer, or Capricorn, then this will be quite profound for you, especially also if you're one of the earth signs. It's gonna make a flowing trine towards you, which is pretty beneficial if you ask me. So later in this video, I'm going to walk you through each of the 12 signs to take a closer look at where this conjunction is happening in your personal chart. So yeah, let's grab your natal chart, let's take a drink, let's take a breath, and let's look at what we're going to dive into today. So this is pretty exciting to be talking about because it doesn't happen quite often. And let's maybe first dive into what a Cazimi actually means. So here we can see at the picture the Sun, Venus, and Mars, they're all gonna align together. And the word Cazimi, it actually literally means in the heart of the Sun. So that happens when a planet is about 16 minutes within close proximity of the Sun, and it's actually right at its center, so very close by. Normally, when planets get close to the Sun, they're said to be combust, and that means that the energy can be overwhelmed or a little bit weakened or like burned by the rays of the Sun. But here we're actually seeing extreme closeness, and that is called the Cazimi, and that is when it gets strengthened. So combust planets, they can get overwhelmed by the Sun, but Cazimis are actually planets that are getting reborn inside of it. So a Cazimi is a bit different. Instead of being burned up, the planet is actually getting purified and strengthened, and you can look at this Cazimi moment as a very big moment of rebirth. So if we look at the exact dates of when this is about to happen, on January the 6th, we see the Venus Cazimi. So Venus, yeah, has a very special moment with the Sun. It's not getting burned. It's more like a spa day for Venus. So this is also the moment that we call a superior conjunction. So it basically means that Venus is hitting the reset button. Venus, of course, rules everything in regards to love and relationships, money, pleasure, the finer things in life. And when she meets with the Sun like this, then all these themes get totally recalibrated at its core. So up until now, Venus has been a morning star. And morning star Venus, she's like the person who wakes up at 5 a.m. and she goes to the gym and she drinks her oat milk latte. She goes for a solo walk and journals about all her feelings. And she knows her own values and she doesn't need anyone's opinion. But the morning star Venus is actually very independent. She's very like, this is what I want. And she's really embodying this very main character energy. And on January the 6th, Venus is going to walk straight into the Sun. So we're going to see this full Cazimi moment. And she's going to come out at the other side as an evening star. This is the superior conjunction that I'm talking about. So Venus as an evening star is very different. Now she's like, okay, darling, but what are we gonna do tonight? She wants connection, she wants company, she wants to be seen, she wants to make dinner plans, and she wants to talk about shared values and shared emotional experiences or connections. So there's going to be a big vibe shift. Morning star Venus, very self-directed, a little bit rebellious. She's more into doing her own thing. But as of 6th of January, she's gonna totally switch, and there's a fly flying here. Okay. But as an evening star Venus, she's more social, more magnetic. She's very aware of how things play out with others. It's going to happen at 16 degrees, this superior conjunction and this Cazimi moment. And of course, the Cancer degree is going to add more emotions and like heartfelt, comforting feelings to it as well. Then on the 8th of January, we're going to see a Venus conjunct Mars at 18 degrees of Capricorn. So this is actually so cute. Mars and Venus, they finally meet up in the sky. These two are the cosmic lovers. Venus is love, Mars is desire. And where Venus is more like feminine love and caring love. Mars is more of like masculine desire for conquest and passion and pursuit. And when they come together, the universe is saying like, all right, what you want and what you want is going to become very, very clear. But what are you going to do about it with Mars? So what you want and what you want to do about it, they actually get on the same page. So that creates a lot of ignition and a lot of sparks. Venus and Mars, they don't always usually agree. Venus wants more romance, Mars wants more action. Venus wants connection, Mars wants this conquest warrior type of energy to dive into. But on January the 8th, they look at each other and they're like, okay, now we're on the same page. And that in itself is very powerful and it's very, very attractive. This isn't the type of needy energy. It isn't about chasing. It is about knowing what you want and moving towards it with a lot of confidence. That in itself is very, very attractive. So on January the 8th, desire is going to become undeniable. Attraction gets infused with more courage, and the universe is saying like, if you want it, you need to show it. So whether it's about love, whether it's an ignition in a new kind of passion, maybe you get a lot of reignited creativity, inspiration, pleasure. The cosmic lovers, they are in sync and the vibe is like, come closer and attract the things that you want. And in Capricorn, that is for the long haul, or it's going to be based on long-term commitment and responsibility. So all of the new seeds that you're going to be planting right now, they could have long-term beneficial effects over the next few months. So yeah, the fact that the cosmic lovers meet up right after Venus is reborn in the sun is pretty special as well, because Venus, she already knows what she wants, and now Mars shows up like, okay, it's cool, let's get it together. So then a few days later, a day later, on the 9th of January, the sun is going to meet up with Mars, and that is going to really activate our confidence. Your inner fire meets like a very big courage button that is going to get pushed by all of this energy to combine together. So of course, the sun, it's our core identity, it's who we are, and Mars is how we act, and especially how we act upon the desires that we know we would like to have or attain in our lives. So yeah, this is saying like, when you say things, you need to mean it, and then you need to do it as well. So there's going to be less hesitation, no second guessing. It can feel like a lot of clarity ingrained with a lot of muscles to go after what you want. And all of these planets aligning at 19 degrees of Libra, that is a very cool twist, because Libra, of course, it is it is connected to balance and love and relationships and mutual agreement as well. So of course, with Mars in the picture, it is bold, it is quite assertive, but I think if you're gonna let your desires to be known, that it can really be answered quite quickly. And it isn't reckless Mars energy as long as you use your brains, because a lot of people will get infused with so much passion that they're maybe going to act a little bit blunt, or maybe a little bit stupid, or a little bit too assertive. That can definitely happen. But I think under this energy, you will be able to get away with it. So yeah, and instead of like bulldozing, you can speak up, and you need to listen too. That is like the Libra aspect, or like the Libra degree. And you can take the initiative, but you need to read the room and the signs first. Don't be like too bold and too blunt with this energy. Do not get lost in your ego's desires too much. Yes, it is very perfect to go after the things that you want, but don't make any blunt or stupid assumptions without reading the room first. That is like a little tip for you guys. You can definitely go after what you want, but do it with a lot of grace, because it's at the Libra degree. So yeah, you can know your worth, and you're not going to be afraid to show it. That is like the kind of energy, and you can feel clear and ready, and also, yeah, people are going to know much better how to meet each other halfway. The cool fact about all of this is that it's going to oppose Jupiter from 6th of January until the 15th of January, the opposition to Jupiter takes place as well. And the cool part is that Jupiter is actually at its midpoint in its retrograde. That is going to amplify all of this energy in a very, very profound way. So yeah, this is like a planetary cosmic intervention. All these planets, Sun, Venus, Mars, they line up at one side of the sky, and Jupiter is at the other side of the sky. And Jupiter feels like, okay, excuse me, am I being summoned? And yes, he is, because they're all opposing Jupiter, and Jupiter is getting massively triggered. And that is a very big deal, because Jupiter at the midpoint of the retrograde cycle, this is like a very big mirror moment for Jupiter. And Jupiter, of course, expands and amplifies all of the things of Venus, Mars, and the Sun. So Jupiter is going to expand our love, our desire, but also our ego. So we do still need to keep our ego a little bit in check. Do not go on over compromise with people. But it's definitely a good time to question, like, where have I gone too big, or where haven't I gone big enough? And Jupiter is gonna, yeah, it's gonna be like impossible to ignore what is gonna happen in the first 2 weeks of January. And oppositions, they are never subtle. It is a hard aspect. So you can look at it as like two people who are across the room. Here are all the three planets, here are Jupiter, and they're like shouting towards each other, and they're like, excuse me, listen to me, no, now you need to listen to me, and they're like going back and forward. So an opposition always creates a little bit of friction, but here it's about like meeting each other in the middle. But it's definitely possible that Jupiter will like overrule and like amplify all of the passionate desire of all these three, of this double Cazimi. So emotions are going to feel bigger. Confidence can swing a little bit between I can do anything and then downing yourself a little bit. So it's like you need to readjust everything during this time. Your optimism is also going to be massively tested by reality, because Capricorn is the sign of reality. So Jupiter, of course, inflates everything. The Sun then shines a spotlight. Mars is going to push it. Venus wants more and wants more pleasure. So yeah, nobody is going to be chill under this influence. Later in the month of January, on the 17th to be exact, we're going to see Venus jump over into Aquarius. Then on the 20th, the Sun is going to ingress into Aquarius, and Aquarius season is going to start. And then on the 23rd of January, Mars is going to ingress into Aquarius as well. And then we're going to see that the Sun and Venus will pass over Mars. And in February, Mercury will also join this party and this planetary stellium in the sign of Aquarius. And then we will have 5 planets in Aquarius. So that is like very, very cool. And it's going to be a good time to start new things, test new things, dive into all of these weird topics. We're going to see some new inventions that are going to be pretty spectacular, if you ask me. But more on that later when we are going to enter Aquarius season. Let's first dive into what all of this energy means into the sign of Capricorn. So we're going to take a deeper look at what this means at a personal level for each and every one of you later. But first, let's look at the general influence. So all of these planets together, that is massive. It's like almost a volcanic surge of passion, drive, impulses that really are gonna, like, all of this energy is gonna flood into the collective field. The energy is not subtle at all. It is not some kind of small background noise. This is really like a spark and an ignition as well. So Mars rules over our action. Venus is about desire as well, and love and beauty, and the Sun is about our will and our ego and our identity. So yeah, when the three of them, when they fuse together, we're gonna feel that something inside of us is gonna get switched on. The energy is gonna be running hot, the adrenaline will be pumping, and we will have to move. We will have to act upon something. We are going to be called to create and to initiate something big with the opposition to Jupiter. even though it's happening in the sign of Capricorn, which is usually more controlled and disciplined and strategic, the intensity of all these planets together, they're gonna like totally override all of the Capricorn's usual restraint. So passion is gonna become way too strong to stay contained. So people are gonna be making decisions quite quickly, also a bit impulsively. Some of you are gonna think that you're being rational, but there's definitely gonna be a sense of, I need to start this now, or if I don't act today, I'm gonna miss out on something. And yeah, all of this energy and the conjunction, it's gonna compress all of our drive into one specific direction. And that is what I'm gonna be looking at later in this video at your personal sign and in which house it falls for you. So it's gonna be a feeling that we're gonna witness everywhere in politics, and the financial markets, an increased dose of activism as well. People are really gonna be rallying around their passion or a feeling or an idea or a cause, and the emotional temperature is gonna rise quite strongly. You can look at it as like the collective heartbeat that speeds up here. So if you're feeling a little bit restless during this period, or you might feel a little bit more fired up, or very ready to go, or quite strongly outspoken as well, it's actually the whole point here of the chart. This conjunction, it wants action, it wants initiation, and it wants to turn a lot of our desire into reality. That is the sign of Capricorn. So so much passion is going to build up in the collective. It can actually burn bright, or it can also burn you out. So yeah, when we're stepping into this, we're gonna notice, or you guys, we're all gonna notice very strongly where our fire is gonna be pointing towards and who is gonna ignite it. You can feel that your desire is gonna become magnetized towards something or someone. You can feel very urgent, and you can feel very, very alive. So yeah, it's gonna show us exactly what we are ready to pursue, what we're willing to commit to for the long haul, and what we are actually no longer willing to hold back on as well. So with the opposition to Jupiter, it's going to become impossible to ignore. And whatever gets ignited during this big moment of seed planting, it will have like long-term effects in the sign of Capricorn. So it might take a little while to see the fruits of your effort, but definitely Capricorn is also about hard work, about responsibility, about commitment, about reality, the test of time, endurance, responsibility are all part of Capricorn. So the fact that all of the personal planets ignite that particular sign is really, we really are gonna need to deal with all of this passionate energy in a very responsible way as well. And I think on a global level, it might look a little bit different than on a personal level, to be honest, because yeah, with the sun, of course, that presents leadership. It's also about visibility, people who have a very prominent position in society. It also centrals around authority. The sign of Capricorn is, of course, the sign of the government. So yeah, with the involvement of this tight configuration, it's going to place a very big emphasis on public solar figures, and also political structures, of course. And Mars is going to bring a lot of tension and urgency, and Venus is about relational dynamics. It's also about our friends and allies. But this is definitely going to be a period where leaders are going to become way more scrutinized, more reactive, more triggered, more exposed. So we're definitely going to see a lot of challenges within leadership. We're going to see a lot of pressure on political dealings and peace treaties as well. We're also going to see a lot of criticism being projected onto the political or like the world stage, and then like the public will be very, very critical of them. Definitely also going to highlight shifts in The collective expectations towards our authority. Very typical for this alignment to highlight opposition towards certain figures quite sharply. So think about charismatic or symbolic figures. They tend to attract like a heightened attention under this aspect. And it's also gonna, yeah, institutional weakness or like all these unresolved issues right now, they are gonna surface way more clearly. But definitely increased activity around our governance, around decision-making of the government, around public trust, and also strong need for like measured leadership and also transparent communication. And we're gonna see some hiccups in that for sure, because it isn't just personal, it is very geopolitical here in the sign of Capricorn. Venus rules, of course, over diplomacy, Mars rules over conflict, and both of them are actually applying a lot of pressure onto the sun. So the entire global stage is going to heat up immensely. We're going to see a lot of drama playing out in alliances. We're going to see Trump and Putin trying to make some peace treaty, but I'm sure Ursula or someone else is gonna throw some curveball into that, as we're already used, like what's new. But definitely we're gonna see a lot of instability in coalitions, can be in your own country, can be on the world stage, and the deals that are gonna be made under this energy, there's gonna be immense pressure. And even a lot of deals that were made in the past are going to be breaking under this pressure. So we're going to see sudden shifts between countries, and we're going to see political blocks, major reorganizations and government structures as well. We can expect a lot of scandals to be popping up, and negotiations that will be at very high stake. And also, I think some charismatic leaders are really going to be like showing off their power in some kind of way. They're going to be intimidating others. On the other side, maybe some of them are going to use it to inspire, but I think it's going to be like a big show of drama, ego, battle, and really like, it's going to be interesting to notice for sure. But it's going to be a moment where diplomacy has become like, more emotional with Venus, and with Mars more easily triggered. The sign of Capricorn is normally very strategic, but with all of this planetary energy, some of the international leaders are gonna act because they feel kind of cornered. Maybe they're gonna need to make some very fast, sudden decisions because they've not been like calculating in the long-term consequences of certain deals. We're gonna see some alliances to strengthen very fiercely, and others are gonna be blowing apart rather quickly. So we're gonna, this whole triple conjunction in Capricorn is gonna be a story that is gonna be breaking up a lot of change of like the tone of all of our international relationships for the next few months. So also important to notice is that the zodiac wheel has a memory. And what do I mean by that? One of the most important conjunctions of Saturn and Neptune happened in January of 2020. We all know what happened back then, and they conjuncted at 22 degrees of Capricorn. So this conjunction is rather close towards 22 degrees. So we know that the zodiac wheel, it operates cyclically, and certain degrees hold like long-term significance because of the events that got associated with them. So in this case, 22 degrees of Capricorn, it remains a rather sensitive point in our collective consciousness and in the astrology wheel because of the major Saturn-Pluto conjunction that happened in January of 2020. So that was, of course, also accompanied by the Sun, Mercury, Ceres. Which one was it as well? The South Node, I guess. The South Node was there as well, if I remember correctly. But that was actually, yeah, a highly concentrated alignment at this exact point of the zodiac wheel, and it marked a very big peak of a cycle that actually began in late 2018 and even extended over into 2021. So Saturn-Pluto conjunctions, they always correlate with periods of deep structural transformation. Think about systematic breakdowns, geopolitical reconfigurations, economic strain, and also major shift in like the collective priorities. So yeah, of course, with the whole pandemic and then like control, Saturn is like, yeah, Saturn restrains, refrains, that was very clearly, and Pluto is about like abuse of control. So that was pretty clear what happened back then. But now we're going to see this alignment happening pretty close towards that. And I'm going to be honest, like the zodiac wheel has a scar at 22 degrees of Capricorn. So now all of these conjunctions are actually going to re-trigger that in some kind of way. So we're going to see some very big echoes from back then, things that are going to be illuminated, truth that is going to be exposed, structures that are going to be crumbling that were set up back then, but also control mechanisms that they try to install back during this time, and they're going to come up back again right now. So some countries are like going to be totally diversing them from what happened back then, but other countries are gonna dive in head first, and we all know who we're talking about. Like I'm not gonna go too deep into that here, but definitely this is really about like a very big renewed activity in that area of our zodiac wheel. So I think that is I think I've said enough with that. So if we then look back at the historic cycles, these are some of them, we can see a repetitive theme in all of these triple conjunctions, that there is like always some kind of social mobilization, especially uprisings and protests with like the youth or the younger people. And that really like struck my mind, because Uranus is about to re-ingress into the sign of Gemini, and we've already seen so many Gen Z protests, and when we look back at these dates, they like come back up again. A lot of riots, a lot of political activism, and massive protests by students. So yeah, we're gonna see a worldwide youth mobilization that's gonna be focused on institutions and matters of governance, and wanting to see more decentralization in that. Mars is, of course, action, uprising. Venus is the people and also our social networks. The Sun is like visibility. This is a very big collective activation that we're going to see. Another big topic, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor at all, but we're also seeing a recurring theme about like peaks in the markets, combined with like bubbles bursting and like big financial turning points. So yeah, every time we saw this triple conjunction of either the inflation rose further up, or it was just before like a global recession, some kind of crash. Like 2006 was before like the 2008 financial crisis. That was like the housing bubble peak in 2006. So yeah, we're going to see a rapid acceleration and some kind of correction in the months after that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see like an increase in currencies or cryptos, especially as well during this specific time. But of course, I'm not a financial advisor, and I am advising you to really look at your own chart, what this conjunction is doing in your own natal chart. If it's conjunct the South Node, do not go speculate in any way. If it's making squares to your own natal Venus, also not a wise time to be risky with your money. So yeah, it's hard for me to do like an overall analysis, because a lot of it depends on your own personal chart. But if you want to know more about it, you can definitely book in a session. And also, the Sun, yeah, Venus rules values and money, Mars is very fast, causes some kind of acceleration, and the sun amplifies everything. So it can produce some kind of moment of like overheating, and it will not be stable at all. So yeah, we might see a rapid increase in valuation, and then it's also going to be like an expansion that is going to be based more on sentiment and not necessarily on fundamentals. So yeah, there's definitely an increased likelihood of bubbles forming, or like existing bubbles expanding even further. And it is not necessarily indicating immediate downturn, but rather like the beginning of a cycle where valuations can inflate beyond like the sustainable levels. Another theme that we're seeing here as well, and I need to mention it, and it is just something that we're seeing that is like, how do I say it to not trigger the algorithm? But a lot of political upheaval. 1981, we saw an attempt on Reagan as well. So yeah, there's like this reoccurring theme of like attempts on presidents, and I'm gonna look at Trump's chart later, and I'm gonna like highlight why I'm also seeing this in his chart right now. I do not wish anyone harm, neither left or right. They are part of the same bird anyway, so that's a whole other discussion. But definitely the sun is, of course, leaders, Mars is conflict, really, yeah, causing a high pressure like point around authority as well. And the sign of Capricorn, people in authority, people from the government, yeah. They can also act quite more, yeah, they're going to be more prone to engage in battle during this conjunction as well. The Sun and Venus, the Sun and Mars together can really inflate, with opposition to Jupiter, a risk-taking initiative. Yeah, more prone to having conflict, also accidents, actually. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a theme. Another theme with all of these conjunctions as well is the theme of nuclear issues as well. And I'm not saying that to frighten you, but it's something that has been coming up as well. And I'm not going to go too deep into that. But definitely there can be a new treaty being signed in regards to nuclear, or the use of nuclear issues and all of that. And maybe some realignment. And I'm hoping with the opposition to Jupiter that it's not going to get blown out of hand, but that it's actually that positive energy of Jupiter is going to be used, and that they're going to tap into its wisdom and not the amplifying energy of like the ego expanding. So let's all hope and prayer. Like in astrology, there are always so many possibilities. It's never a certainty, but because it has been coming up time and time and again, there is a very big astrological potential that the nuclear and the use of nuclear technology is going to become like a big headliner during these conjunctions as well. So yeah, it's like, it's not random. It's reappearing. Cosmic signature, all the things that I've just mentioned, and the pattern, yeah, and the zodiac wheel, it just have, it remembers every time when they move together, and it's like infusing the same kind of energy, and it's been casted onto Earth here. So yeah, we're going to see a noticeable increase in emotional intensity within like the whole collective atmosphere, and especially within the government. So we're going to see rapid mood changes. We're going to see heightened sensitivity, strong reactions to political figures, and a more reactive social tone than we're used to. So yeah, definitely a restructuring of political power. And let's maybe dive into Trump's chart and look at what this triple conjunction is going to do for him. So it doesn't mean that this person will be harmed, but there's definitely visibility. The sun, there is polarization with the opposition, there is emotional charge with Mars, there is the public reaction that is going to get intensified around symbolic figures of authority. That is like the full core pattern. It's not violence itself. I just like want to restate that and highlight that. But it is going to be intense for Trump, to say the least, because this triple conjunction falls at his vertex. You can see his vertex at 22 degrees here of Capricorn, which is pretty profound because the Saturn Pluto conjunction in 2020 happened exactly at his vertex, which is pretty predestined. So yeah, the vertex, it is about fated encounters, and the fifth house, it speaks to performance. It's also self-expression or like theatrical skills and leadership. It's funny that he, as a Leo rising, has Capricorn in his fifth house. It's also talking about like public attention and visibility. Trump is becoming a focal point for like the collective emotions, drama, and all of that. But definitely, the fifth house, it also speaks to its children or romance. It can also be Baron Trump that could be coming up during this conjunction as well. It's squaring Chiron, it's squaring Jupiter. Chiron is the center of literally getting harmed. Like it is about wounds. For him, it's about wounds in his self-worth and in his legitimacy. It's going to be about themes of power, money, and self-worth that are going to be triggered and combined. And definitely Chiron squares, they often manifest as like a lot of public criticism. We're also seeing that with like the Epstein files that are like totally blocked out and redacted. So we're also seeing like there's this opposition to Venus Saturn in his 11th house, and the 11th house, it talks about like politics and his social networks. Jupiter is going retrograde, so actually blessings in regards to politics or in regards to his social networks are like getting some kind of review and are now massively triggered by this triple conjunction. So it also speaks like about his supporters, his alliances, political structures, and the opposition. It can describe like a strain with allies, tests of loyalty, and fractures within his social networks. And definitely with Venus amplifying that, Jupiter makes things bigger, louder, more visible. So definitely there's an expansion of resistance at the same time. And the reason, because in 68 and 81, with the attempts on the presidents, and those areas were back then already very explosive. And astrology does not repeat events literally, it repeats certain themes. But what we're seeing here is, of course, Uranus is at the top of his MC, at the top of his chart, and it's conjunct Algol, and it's actually squaring his Mars and squaring his rising exactly. So the fact that we're seeing a triple conjunction squaring Chiron and Jupiter, his wounds, we're also seeing Uranus shock surprises on Algol, the demon star, losing one's head, squaring Mars, which is anger and cuts, burns, bruises, or getting hurt. And it's also squared the rising, his body. So he's gonna need to take extra precautions to keep himself safe. We might see an attempt on his life that is definitely possible under this current energy, although I do not want to manifest that, and I do not wish that upon him, or any other person. I do not wish anyone harm, but definitely it's quite strongly in the cards here for him. So it's just with this triple conjunction, leaders become like these kind of lightning rods, and there's an intense projection from the collective. There's going to be moments of faith meeting visibility, and an escalation of the entire rhetoric. And The fact is, with everything that now happened with the Epstein files, like all the planets in Sagittarius throughout December, they have been moving over his moon, which is actually a lunar eclipse. He is born natally under an eclipse. When you're born with a natal eclipse, that is like so profound. You have a very profound, destined kind of karmic way about moon and Sag. It is about the homeland, about being quite... it's about patriotism. It is about freedom as well. But definitely interesting configuration. The fact that it's square Chiron is a little bit difficult to say, at least. We're going to also look at some other charts of countries, because Trump has been wanting to free certain countries from the EU, and we're gonna take a look at the charts as well for that. So let's first look at the chart for the EU. So the beginning of 2020, that is also when Brexit happened. So when Pluto and Saturn were at 22 degrees of Capricorn, in January of 2020, we had Brexit. So now Trump wants 4 countries to leave the EU. He's talking about Austria, Hungary, Italy, and Poland. So for the EU here, doesn't really look all too positive, as well as this triple conjunction is actually happening at the Neptune-Uranus conjunction. That is like the time in 1993 when this whole treaty was formed. So this is the chart from that exact date, the Treaty of Maastricht. So, which is actually spectacular that it happens at the Neptune-Uranus conjunction exact. So it's squaring Venus in the 3rd house. The 3rd house is, of course, about like neighboring countries. It's also about money. So yeah, not looking good for money or money regards, and for every country in the EU, but definitely not for the leaders and all of that. So we're also seeing that Jupiter at its midpoint is squaring Venus exact. So definitely there's a very big T-square here from the 12th to the 6th to the 3rd. The 12th house is loss. The 6th house is like daily routine or daily structure that is getting changed, squaring both towards like neighboring countries and peace and allies, and Venus in Libra in the 3rd house. So definitely we're going to see countries leaving. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened on this exact date, but definitely, of course, when there's like a conjunction of 3 planets, that is when seeds are getting planted. So definitely can play out over the next 2 years whenever Mars makes another new synodic cycle with the Sun. But definitely countries will be leaving, and I do not think it will take a long time, to be honest. We also see Uranus and Algol conjunct the Moon, again opposing the whole stellium and Scorpio. And what also like is very important to know is that in April we're going to have a stellium in Aries in the 9th house, which are foreign countries, a lot of conflict with foreign countries, and it's going to make a 150-degree quincunx aspect to their stellium in the 4th house. So yeah, all these planets, like this stellium and Scorpio in the 4th house, it is like such a big control mechanism, this whole structure of the EU. I'm going to make a whole 2026 video about the astrology for the EU soon. Definitely some surprises in store with Saturn and Neptune conjuncting in the 9th house as well, but more on that later. Otherwise, I'm going to keep talking. So here, the chart of Italy. We're seeing this triple conjunction, exactly conjunct the North Node. And what really stood out to me is that we're going to have an eclipse in Aquarius, and that's going to be at 28 degrees of Aquarius. And look at that, that's like fully conjunct the sun of that country. And the sun of Italy is in the 10th house. It is about authority. It is about structures of government. The eclipse is going to be right on top of that. So there's going to be a change in leadership, or they're going to break away from it in some kind of way from, well, like, The 10th house, it is not only your own structures in your own country of the government, it's also people who have something to say above you. So if we want to look at the EU and how that correlates to the chart of Italy, we need to look at the 10th house. So we have the sun, we're going to have this Aquarian eclipse that will conjunct it, and at the same time we're seeing Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius and the ruler of this, which belongs to the sun. It's like fully squaring that. So between now and let's say middle of April, I think Italy is going to break away and it's going to free itself from some authoritative structures above its head or like above its own. So that is like very, very strongly implicated here in the chart. And then Uranus is going to conjunct the moon soon. And then in 2027, they're going to have their Uranus return. So definitely a lot of surprises in store for Italy for sure. And the fact that this triple conjunction conjuncts the North Node, which is like the point of destiny, it's also about like real power, real power behind the scenes in the 8th house. Pretty intense configuration, if you ask me. And it's also, yeah, and then Pluto is squaring Pluto as well. So Pluto square Mars, Pluto square Pluto, definitely major energy here at play for Italy. If we don't look at Austria, this triple conjunction is going to take place at their MC at the top of the chart. Again, about government structures. Again, there's correlation to the 10th house. Again, it's going to be very publicly visible, whatever's going to happen there. And good Lord, like the fact that it's fully conjunct the MC, it's pretty special. This in regards to authority and leadership. Saturn, Neptune, square Mars in the 9th house, conflict with foreign affairs as well. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised if they would leave as well. And then if we look at the chart for Hungary, that is also, yeah, of course, Hungary, it is Capricorn rising. So the triple conjunction falls in the 1st house. That is giving way for like a new identity for the country to embrace. Square Mars at the top of the chart, indicating conflict and troubles with authority or people who are above that country as well, like Ursula, or within the government or the country itself. You can see a restructuring of government within the country, and we're seeing that for the past 3 country charts. So also Mercury conjunct Mars in Libra, whole triple conjunction is gonna square that as well. So if we look at it from a whole sign perspective, Libra is also the 10th house. So again, the 10th house is implicated. So it just like, excuse me, really baffled me, and it really stood out to me that for all these countries, the 10th house is like afflicted or implicated or triggered in some kind of way. So Mercury, Mars in Libra, it talks about allies, bonds with foreign countries. It's also about diplomacy. Mercury rules over contracts. Square from Mars, and also the triple conjunction affecting that. The leader of that country could actually sever and cut ties or existing contracts and bonds with the EU as well, if they would want to. I'm pretty sure all of these countries are having an astrologer. This is just like no coincidence. And then if I look at Poland, oh, I forgot to include the chart for Poland, but I remember that Poland also has a Capricorn rising, and at the same time, they're also going through the Jupiter return in the 7th house, which is actually symbolizing luck through allies. I didn't really see anything striking as in these other 3 countries' charts. Maybe that's why I forgot to include them. But if we then look at our Ursula von der Leyen, and not lying, but lying, yeah, she has like an stellium and Libra. So again, she is one of the cardinal signs. This triple conjunction and this stellium and Capricorn is squaring off to her stellium and Libra. So that is actually bad news for Ursula. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see how this plays out, but definitely there's gonna be surprises, changes. Wouldn't even be surprised if Ursula got replaced with this one, because again, it's about government structures, it's about a whole new seed being planted, a lot of scrutiny towards leadership, and this whole triple conjunction is actually squaring her sun, Mercury, and the North Node. So it's also squaring off with the South Node. And Chiron is on her South Node exact as well. Something from the past could come up that could quite harm her in some kind of way. We're also seeing the South Node on its way towards her Pluto, and my prediction is that when the South Node conjuncts Pluto, then Ursula will get replaced, because this is like something from like the South Node is very devouring. It wants to eat, it wants to take away, and when it conjuncts Pluto, the planet of power, it could very well be that her power is going to get taken away. But I'm going to keep an eye on her chart for the next couple of months, because some interesting things are definitely at play here, because starting from April, Uranus is going to conjunct her Mars as well. So yeah, definitely some sudden shock surprises that are gonna make her pretty pissed off, if you ask me. And she could like radically or like drastically react or cause even more conflict. And I hope that she's gonna react so much unpredictable, because Uranus is unpredictability, and when Uranus conjunct Mars, it's like unpredictable outbursts of anger. So I really hope that she just like goes over the top, and that it's going to be undeniable, and that she's going to be replaced in some kind of way. Not saying that her follow-up or the next leader is going to be better, because like it's all a big club and we ain't in it, but still I can see definitely some surprises that are in store here for her. So yeah, I think I've highlighted the most important things. And the eclipse in Aquarius is gonna, trying her notes. Yeah, okay, more on that later. With all of that being said, I hope I gave you some insight with these countries charts and charts of our dear beloved friend Ursula. I wish I could go a little bit deeper into that, and I wish I could say all the things that cross my mind, but I need to be a little bit careful. But definitely, I'm gonna make a whole 2026 video on the EU, and maybe I'll include Ursula as well to dive in a little bit deeper. So, with all of that being highlighted, we're gonna start looking at each of the 12 rising signs. And we're gonna start, of course, with my dear fellow Aries, sun, moon, or rising. So how are you going, my dear Aries? You're gonna have a triple conjunction into the sign of Capricorn, and of course, because you're a cardinal sign yourself, it's gonna make a square to your sun, moon, or rising. So it's definitely gonna create a little bit of tension, but I actually see this as like good tension here, because it's in your 10th house, it's at the top of the chart. We've just been talking a lot about visibility, about leadership, about being in a position in the spotlights in some kind of way. So that is definitely here in the cards for you, my dear Aries. All of this energy has been building up through the entirety of December, and then it was like all in your 9th house. But now it's conjuncting fully in your 10th. So the startup in the 9th, throughout December, you might feel like inspired to learn something new, or to broaden your perspective or your horizons, and also to like reconnect with your sense of purpose. It might have shown up as wanting to travel, study, or have more meaningful conversations, that like highlighted your purpose and opened some kind of doors, or simply like opening your mind up to bigger possibilities. So now, by the time that the planets move into Capricorn, you're actually ready to take what you've been learning and applying that in a real practical way. And in regards to your career, or in regards to your reputation, can also happen in a 10th. So when Venus, Sun, Mars all activate your 10th, you might feel way more driven to step up, to take on more responsibility, to aim higher in your professional life. It could mean starting a new project, reshaping your goals, becoming more visible in what you do or say. And at the same time, the square to your Aries sun, moon, or rising can make this actually feel pretty exciting, but it's going to be excitement with a little dose of pressure on it. Maybe you're pushing yourself to grow. Maybe you're feeling like it's all going a little bit too fast, so don't overdo it, because with Jupiter and the opposition that sits in your 4th house of homely and family matters, these might also need a lot of attention at the same time. So you might be balancing your personal life with like your amplifying ambitions. Like there are amplifying themes at home that are needing to like work out in some kind of way, but it's like having an impact on your it's like increasing your ambition or your motivation in some kind of way. So yeah, a very productive period. Capricorn is a sign of working hard, but you need to pace yourself with like taking it step by step and take your time and put in the effort, but don't go to burnout. And if you do that, if you pace yourself, you will definitely get the most out of it. We know you, Aries, very straightforward, very confident, very yeah, ready to show up and stand up for yourself. But the energy here in the 10th house, it is about steady effort over time, and the triple conjunction is going to help you to step into a more confident version of yourself. You might be put in the spotlight for some kind of reason, but not take on too much than you can handle. Stay grounded. Can be a very powerful phase for like shaping your next chapter, and you can feel very, very proud of the direction that you're moving in the next few weeks. Can definitely be a major door opening in regards to your career. So if that comes up, and if you feel a little bit scared, which I know you Aries, you do not really suffer from fear mindset, but it can be so big that you feel a little bit overwhelmed, just grab your Aries horns and just go fully for it. So definitely you're going to see some possible outcomes. There's going to be noticeable movement and rapid growth and changes in your career path. You're going to get recognition for your hard work. Feel ready to switch your directions entirely. Maybe you're going to move towards another field that interests you more. You can motivate something to launch something publicly, a project, a website, an offering, a business. Yeah, success is going to change somehow for you and the meaning of it. Update your goals. You can reposition yourself in your industry. You can change your industry fully. Changes at home with Jupiter there might naturally arise alongside like this increased visibility as well. Can look as like you get a new career opportunity and suddenly you need to move, and by that you need to look for a new career as well, or a new job. Some of you are going to have like these increased responsibilities at your job, and you need to adjust your family responsibilities according to that. But overall, these next few weeks are going to definitely bring an opportunity to level up in some way. It's about your true purpose, and the choices that you're going to make in the beginning of the year are really going to set a tone for the entire year ahead. So my dear Aries, don't be afraid to dive in headfirst, to just like go for what you want. We know you're quite good and capable at doing that. Be mindful about your family situation at home. Try to balance everything out a little bit, but definitely enjoy these beautiful opportunities that are going to be coming onto your path. And let me know what happens, because I am quite curious to know. So good luck, my dear Aries. We have Taurus and Moon or Rising. You are going to have a triple conjunction in the sign of Capricorn, and that is going to happen in your 9th house. So yeah, all of the energy in Sag has been building up in the 8th throughout the month of December. That was about bonds, sexual, energetic, financial bonds. But now, when you become, you became more aware of where you were supported and where you feel a little bit drained and what needs to be rebalanced in the 8th house. Also could have brought a lot of financial clarity about like arrangements and trust, or any area where you're carrying, or like it's about the give and take axis as well. And you've been rebalancing that throughout December. And now everything is fully moving into the 9th house. So yeah, the first 2 weeks of January, things in the 9th house are going to open up significantly. There's a focus that's moving from like managing the deeper, more profound complexities in life. They are now switching to like seeking perspective and growth, and then you're gonna feel very much inspired by this triple conjunction. So you're gonna feel very strongly pulled towards learning something new, exploring your spiritual path more profoundly. You might research a certain topic more deeply. You might also be reconnecting with the sense of possibility and all of the spiritual matters, and your horizon is getting broadened. Of course, the triple conjunction is trining your sun, moon, or rising, so that is definitely going to be very beneficial to feel more grounded or in control of like the whole process, or like the whole restructuring of your belief system in the ninth as well. So it's going to become way easier to step back from old patterns and step into like a broader view and even worldview. It's about intellectually philosophical matters. It's about spirituality in the ninth, and on a personal level, you're going to redefine what freedom means to you. If you've been feeling blocked by others' needs and expectations, you're going to feel way more motivated to create healthier boundaries within that. Wonderful time for studying something new, for planning future travel, for like exploring different belief systems, expanding your worldview through books. You might bump into a new teacher that is gonna show you so much and it's gonna broaden your horizon. You can have very enlightening experiences while you're traveling abroad as well. So this whole ninth house energy, it's going to become way more fun and less heavy than the eighth. Move towards what inspires you and let go of what drains you. So yeah, you've been clearing up like a financial or emotional obligation in the eighth, and now you can be beginning a course or a new area of study. You can also be making plans that are going to align with your long-term growth. You're going to feel drawn to do some research. It's going to be very beneficial for your spiritual development. You're going to raise some new big picture questions also about your purpose. Your purpose can get like extremely highlighted. There's also an opposition to Jupiter in the third, so that is definitely about teaching, writing, studying, blogging, podcasting, publishing. Yeah, that is all such a good energy to tap into right now. Of course, it's also, yeah, this is really about like personal development and like expanding your conscious mind as well with Jupiter in the third. If you need to have some important meetings or some important conversations with people who are in authority, you can expect them to go really, really well. Putting a lot of energy and focus into everything that has to do with writing, speaking, publishing, traveling, and really like rewiring and upgrading your whole belief system. So it's happening in a fellow earth sign energy. Opportunities are going to arise that can make life more practical, more sustainable, more aligned with your natural pace of you, my dear Taurus. So with Jupiter in the third, there can definitely be like over expansion in research, too many projects, too many things that you want to put out, too many things you are saying or talking about on social media. So also with Jupiter in the third, you can overthink some kind of decisions. Just keep the focus on expansion and do not try to figure everything out at once. That will not be necessary here. With the ninth house, you're going to have like the spiritual synchronicities who are really like going to show you where you need to go. So really make good use of this energy because it is quite rare and special. So good luck, my dear Taurus. We're having Gemini, sun, moon, or rising. How is it going, my dear Gemini? So through the month of December, this whole stellium buildup happened through your seventh house of partnerships, and now it's going to shift over to the eighth house. So December brought a lot of interaction, collaboration, and one-on-one exchanges. You were very drawn to connect with people who share your interests and your values. That definitely got highlighted in maybe new partnership or inspiring people and re-entering your life. But there was definitely like a spark that pulled you outwards of like out of the couch into like conversations with people. And also the seventh house, it's very sociable, very motivating, and it's like stretching your social bandwidth more than usual. But now, as of January, all these planets are gonna shift into your eighth house. The tone is gonna become way more deeper and more reflective, because this is where like the surface level interactions are gonna give way to more deeper emotional or psychological insights about yourself, but also about your partner or other people as well. So you might also find yourself considering where certain boundaries need strengthening, or maybe you want to understand like the deeper underlying dynamics in the relationship more clearly. So this is of course in the eighth about shared resources, trusts, intimacy, financial, emotional, sexual, energetic exchanges, and all of these are going to become way more important during this triple conjunction. So it's about really noticing what feels mutually supportive and also what might be draining you, or what is imbalanced, and what is and rebalancing that out accordingly. So this is really a period where you can also deepen important connections more fully. Can be business partnership, can also be romantic. All of that is going to gain a lot of momentum in the eighth house, and it can definitely shift things to like the next level. You're going to share deeper vulnerability, maybe an increase in shared finances, shared commitments, because it's in the sign of Capricorn. Or you might simply meet someone that you're feeling so energetically or sexually attractive towards that is going to like plant a whole new seed in the eighth. It can also heal a lot of trauma around trust. So yeah, on the other hand, if there were some problems with Mars in the seventh and in Sagittarius for the past few weeks, now it can become really obvious if a connection feels one-sided or like a little bit emotionally heavy. This is then going to help you to set up new boundaries and also to like reassess what you're willing to give. And it's going to be very, very made very clearly if the give and take axis is in balance. This is like also like strengthening meaningful partnership and letting go of like connections that have become too demanding or that are based on trauma bonding. These are going to fall away, but you're going to become more involved in the first 2 weeks of January, and shared finances, give and take access, joint projects, collaborative efforts as well. And these all are going to require more honesty and more structure to be put in that. Another way to work beautifully with this rare energy is to go to therapy, to journal your deeper thoughts, have a lot of deep conversations, also be more reflective and explore your own motivations. But yeah, the big topic is going to be commitment. Do not absorb too many emotional demands from other people. That can be like a too heavy block on your shoulders in some kind of way. But definitely with the opposition to Jupiter in your second house, you're really like being gifted a chance to Jupiter in your second house. It amplifies your natural money-making skills. The fact that it opposes all these planets in the eighth can also be a sign that you are going to be able to increase your money, and by that putting more money in your shared funds together with a partner. That can also simply mean that. But definitely a very financial triple conjunction. So there's definitely just like be a little bit mindful about protecting your values as well. Mars in the eighth house, it is infamously known for having to deal with money loss through a partner. Now, luckily, the Sun and Venus are here as well, so it looks very positive to me. But definitely here on the 9th of January, with the moon in the 5th squaring Mercury in the 8th as well, there can be some kind of news from a partner, or maybe from a kid, or maybe from a romantic attraction. There can be maybe some news about finances that can create a little bit of friction, and maybe you might need to help your partner out in some kind of way. That is definitely a possibility, but all depends, of course, on your own natal chart and which aspects it is making towards them. But overall, pretty intense conjunction, very good for like soul retrievement, traumatic work, trauma release exercises, diving into yourself, getting to know your own motivations, getting to know the true motivations of your partner as well. So yeah, let me know what happens, my dear Gemini, and I wish you good luck. We have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What's up, my dear Cancer? So you are one of the cardinal signs, and the opposition is taking place for you here into the sign of Capricorn. So we have a triple conjunction in your 7th house, opposing Jupiter in your sign. So yeah, major energy. You are one of the signs that is going to be major implicated by this, because it's and your opposing sign, it is in an angular house, it is opposing Jupiter in your sign. So yeah, very, very remarkable. So through the month of December, the energy was building up into the sign of Sagittarius, all of these planets. That was more about your daily routine, about the practical side of life, about getting organized, improving your daily habits, giving more attention to your health and well-being as well. But now, as all of these planets are getting ready to make this triple conjunction in the sign of Capricorn, all of these planets shifted into your 7th house, and that is the house of relationships. So you might feel motivated to like streamline your schedule with all of these planets in the 6th, and take care of all the things that have been piling up. And now, with all this energy shifting into the 7th, it can also show up as like a shared effort through teamwork, and also coordinating a lot of things with your co-workers, and a lot of things having to do with your shared projects. But as the energy shifts now into the 7th, relationships are like coming into full focus. This, of course, includes romantic partners, business partners, close friends, allies, clients, anyone that you work with one-on-one. You're going to feel way more eager to connect, to collaborate, to build bridges with other people. Plans that you've been organizing in the 6th are now like involving other people more directly or more openly. So yeah, great time for strengthening existing bonds, great time for meeting new people, stepping into more of a cooperative role as well. And at the same time, you might also notice where expectations are a little bit uneven, or where other people are relying too much on you, and it can feel a bit uncomfortable. But yeah, of course, you're a Cancer, you like to take care of other people, so maybe that does make you feel comfortable. It depends on your own personality, of course. But definitely with Mars in the 7th, if you're already partnered up, that can give a little bit more frustration with the other person. But luckily, the soothing balm of Venus is there as well. But the Sun is definitely highlighting the cosmic lovers are in your 7th house. If you are single and if you bump into someone that you feel really attracted to, like, go for it. This is like green light from the universe. If you really want to like manifest a new relationship, then this is a very, very big rare seed that gets planted in your 7th house. So the 6th and the 7th are actually connected also to responsibility and mutual effort. So you also need to stay a little bit mindful about your boundaries, but you definitely are going to feel energized by conversations with other people, especially your partner or potential partner. And yeah, it's a good time to really clarify what you can do or what you see realistically in the long term with another person. So it's also very helpful for improving teamwork and smoothing over or smoothing out relationship dynamics. But there can first be like a buildup of tension with Mars and the Sun coming conjunct, but then boom, it gets out, it's being spoken about, it's in the open, and then Venus can put on a soothing balm, and maybe your relationship is going to take a whole new different trajectory. One that is more based about equalness, equality, and reciprocity. So yeah, and with Mercury and the 7th, you're definitely going to receive some kind of message or some kind of important conversation with your partner. Do not overcompromise. With the opposition to Jupiter in your sign, it can definitely be a very, very lucky period in regards to other people. And it's definitely about blessings, because Jupiter is at the exact midpoint of its retrograde motion. So for you, my dear Cancer, this energy in the 7th is getting massively like amplified. It's very, very profoundly what is going to take place here. You can also sign a new contract in regards to a new business partnership. But definitely very Saturn. Saturn is your 9th house, about to enter the 10th. Even some of you, my dear Cancers, can also get are going to get retired by February, or maybe some of you are going to release from some certain karmic duty, and a new karmic duty in regards to career can come onto your path as well. Yeah, there's so much more I can say, but I'm gonna save the rest for a later video. But definitely this triple conjunction is going to be very, very profound for getting to know new people and for planting seeds in regards to business partnerships as well. If you need a lawyer, that is also very beneficial and can prove to be of help and luck for you. But definitely the focus is on other people and connecting with them. So very sociable, very happy. Everyone you meet now is going to stay around for the long haul. So let me know what happens, my dear Cancer, and wish you good luck. We have Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What's up, my dear Leo? We're going to have a triple conjunction that is going to take place into the sign of Capricorn. For you, that is going to happen in the 6th house. But as of the entirety of December, all of the planetary energy has been building up in your 5th house. So the 5th house is, of course, about joy, creativity, romance, and all the fun. And all of that happened before everything is now going to shift into your 6th house in January. And the 6th is, of course, about our routines, our health and well-being, our daily work and productivity as well. So December probably brought like a burst of inspiration, could have been a new hobby, or just like reigniting an older hobby, creative projects, bumping into enjoyable social connections, or simply like having this renewed sense of playfulness. So yeah, it's wonderful for like reconnecting with the inner child and spending more time with your children in general, or like reigniting a sense of genuine enjoyment in your life. So I hope you were able to tap into that. It's not too late. The holidays are like right in front of our door. So definitely still enough time to enjoy that kind of energy. But as of January, the 6th, all of these planetary shifts are gonna move over to the 6th house. So the energy is gonna become way more focused and practical. And what inspired you in the 5th house is now gonna become something you want to integrate in your daily routine more. So you can turn a hobby into a skill. You can add more play or creativity in your everyday schedule or routine. You can also create healthier patterns around something that you really care about. So you might feel motivated to maybe tidy up your habits, to improve your workflow and your schedule. You can set helpful routines. You can take better care of your physical well-being. And the tone is going to shift like to how can I make my life and my work life also better and also feel better at the same time. So there's definitely a period that can also be highlighting the balance between fun and your practicality and responsibility. So the 6th house can get very, very busy. More tasks, more projects that could be coming onto your path. It might be exciting, but it can also lead to like a little bit of burnout. Like, excuse me, I'm going to be honest, like the 6th house, this is the house of stress. This is the house of like daily tasks impacting our health and well-being. With Mars there, we need to be a little bit careful about our joints, about bruises, about getting cuts and burns, also about like chronic inflammatory issues. If you're already someone that struggles a little bit with that, you need to be a little bit more careful, not to break like a joint or a bone or a teeth or something like that. But definitely this is a positive conjunction, but still Mars in the 6th house can really lead to burnout, because the hot Martian energy is getting blasted into your 6th house of busyness, and when you are not resting enough, Mars is gonna cut, sever, or tie something, and it's gonna like cause some impulsivity or some recklessness, and that can also make you a little bit more accident prone. So you need to watch out a little bit more for your health during this time. Not to scare you, just to be mindful. Forewarned is forearmed. So do not take on too many projects. Do not go for a burnout. If you're already like being juggling a lot of work, a lot of parenting responsibilities, you need to like slow down a little bit. The key here with it being in the sign of Capricorn is building routines that are actually supporting your energy and not draining it. Small, consistent steps are going to go way much further than these intense bursts of fiery Leo energy. If you want a new job, then this is it for you guys. This is such a positive, welcoming energy to look at that. But definitely with the opposition to Jupiter in the 12th, you're also being protected from hidden enemies. Protection from the gods, the spirit realms are very close, surrounding you, giving you a lot of care, and they're really looking out for you. So that is actually positive. Also for expanding your spirituality, bumping into a lot of synchronicity. If you do receive signs in regards of changing your jobs, I would listen to that during this time, because you could also take on a new role at work. You could also find yourself meeting more people through your co-workers, introducing you to new people. If you go to the gym, you could be meeting new people there. And some of you, my dear Leos, are really gonna, turn some kind of passion project from the 5th into something more structured or something more practical, adding more practicability or structure within your hobbies. You can also create a better personal wellness routine. Be a little bit mindful about your energy levels, though. Your fiery enthusiasm is spectacular, but you need to rest too, and that is what Jupiter in the 12th house is saying. So definitely a transit that is going to create more joyful and more sustainable rhythm that is going to be planted in the next year for you. So make good use of that, my dear Leo, and I wish you the best of luck. We have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. How is it going, my dear Virgo? So we're going to see a triple conjunction, and it's going to happen into the sign of Capricorn. And for you, my dear Virgo, that happens into the 5th house. So a fellow earth sign, it's going to make a trine to your Sun, Moon, or Rising. That is like so welcoming to see. And it's actually quite positive if you ask me. This energy, it is so cool. It's opposing Jupiter in your 11th house in the sign of Cancer. This is like the 5th house. It is the house of fun. And I know, my dear Virgo, like making everything practical, sustainable, and showing a lot of responsibility is like a way of having fun for you. And I totally understand that as a fellow Virgo rising, for sure. But the entire month of December, all of these planets have actually been building up in your 4th house. Into the sign of Sag. So the 4th house is, of course, about your home, your emotional foundation. It's also about your family. Before that shifts into the 5th house of joy, creativity, romance, children. So December might have brought like this renewed focus on your private world, on your living space, your emotional foundations, a big emphasis on your family of origin, or maybe simply an increased need for comfort and grounding. A lot of you have been reorganizing your home, reconnected with relatives, or maybe you had to tend to personal matters that needed your attention, simply. So as the energy now moves into your 5th house in January, you're going to step out of this emotional depth of the 4th house into a more expressive and more playful space. So this is actually a place where inspiration is going to flow more easily. You're going to feel drawn towards creating new projects, like creative projects, hobbies, activities with your children, new romance, experience that bring like a lot of fun and enjoyment, things that are really making your heart sing. So this is really like a spark that begins very privately And that might become something that then you're going to share more openly. Maybe it's exploring a new interest, expressing yourself more freely in the fifth, maybe reconnecting what feels really, really fun for you. The fifth is also encouraging you to like follow what lights you up without like overthinking it. And I know you Virgo risings are so well and so perfectionistic, and you overthink way too much. I know it's one of my downfalls as well. But here in the fun, here in the fifth, just have fun and just like let it go. Let it go. Just tap into your own creative energy, and it's gonna highlight your personal upbringing in the fourth is going to influence your creative expression, and that is going to become quite obvious during this time. It's going to help you understand what you want to keep and what you're ready to release from your upbringing, and a whole new self-expression coming forth from that. You realize that you don't have to like carry everyone's emotional weight, and then that choosing joy is actually very, very valid and very necessary, and it's also a form of self-love. And then the fifth energy is really inviting you to reconnect with what feels fully you, unapologetically you, and not what your family wants you to be. So that's maybe going to be a little bit of a test during the holidays, but definitely something that you're going to succeed in. And the possible outcomes of like this whole planetary mashup in your fifth house is the beginning of a new creative hobby, the beginning of like a whole new fresh start in regards to your children. Maybe your children have some very important news to share with you. Plan some fun activities with them, express yourself in ways that you haven't done in a very long time before. You can definitely fall in love and go on the most awesome date of your life with this energy, or some kind of seed is getting planted and is gonna fully blossom later whenever like the planets are gonna make another aspect in their synodic cycle. But we're gonna come back to that later. But definitely start something new, something that is very personal to you, something that is fully you, and express yourself and have fun. Just make room for enjoyment. You can really turn a hobby into a skill, or like a full-time job, or like a new sense of inspiration can come after like a period of more emotionally, how do I say it? It's definitely, all the planets in the fourth were definitely a little bit emotionally draining. Now that it's shifting over into the fifth, you're gonna have this renewed sense of just like letting down your hair, which is very positive. But overall, it's really gonna encourage you to nurture yourself first, so that actually all the joy and the creativity of the fifth house can like fully blossom in a very, very natural way. We also see Jupiter at the other side of the wheel in the 11th house, so that is also quite positive, because Jupiter is in its exact midpoint of its retrograde. So Jupiter in the 11th has been expanding your friendship circle, it has been blessing your social sphere. I have been noticing that immensely, and I've been so grateful for that. So there's definitely also an increase in social media, blogging, podcasting, going viral in some kind of way by fully expressing yourself is also a possibility here with the 5th and the 11th house. But definitely with Jupiter's blessings, you can really like increase or expand your audience, expand your clients in some kind of way. The 11th house is also the house of hopes and dreams and wishes coming true. So something in regards to having fun. Some new project that is in regards to doing something fun or something that you love, something that makes your heart sing, can become very blessed by Jupiter. You can even have a new business contract that is being made from that. Maybe someone or maybe a business partnership can help you to fully express yourself as well. This is actually looking very, very positive, my dear Virgo. With Uranus on the MC, Your career trajectory is a little bit unstable, for sure, but definitely all these planets are then later in the month, they're all going to trine Uranus on top of your chart. So there's going to be very sudden, surprising new things coming onto your path. By expressing yourself, you can even like totally change up your status and your reputation as well. So yeah, just be yourself, just have fun, and it can actually open a lot of doors. So let me know what happens for you, my dear Virgo, and I wish you the best of luck. Libra, sun, moon, or rising. How's it going, Libra? So we're going to have a triple conjunction in the sign of Capricorn, and for you, that is going to happen in your 4th house. So Libra, you are one of the cardinal signs. So it's going to make a square to your sun, moon, or rising. But nevertheless, the conjunction is actually very positive. So through the month of December, all of the planetary buildup has been happening in your 3rd house of communication, planning, doing a lot of errands. It's also about your neighbors and your siblings. Before it's now going to move into your 4th house of home, family. It's also about your emotional foundation. So the beginning of this cycle brought a lot of mental activity and a very busy, fully social schedule. So you might find that yourself, you were responding more to messages than usual. Maybe your inbox got full, you got a lot of DMs, so you needed to organize a lot of things and plans and running around, doing errands, handling tasks, or maybe trying to keep multiple conversations all at once. So December can also, December felt especially busy, a lot of preparations, maybe some short distance travel plans, maybe some events that you needed to attend in your local environment or in your neighborhood. And this might have all been picking up at the same time. But as the energy is going to shift into your 4th house in January, everything is going to become a little bit more quiet, a little bit more internal and inward focused. So there's really an emphasis that moves from like external business to a more private world. It is going to be injected in your home environment, which is, of course, about your emotional well-being, your family connections. You might also feel motivated to totally rearrange or clean out your living space, redecorate, rearrange. Maybe you need to attend to matters that bring more comfort and stability into your life. Or maybe you would like to do that. So it can also spark a desire to maybe set some new foundations for the year ahead, especially around your living place, so your home, what security means to you. And that is also going to be implicated and be beneficial for your long-term goals surrounding those themes. So in the 3rd, a lot of ideas popped into your mind. Maybe you had a lot of conversations that are now becoming something that you want to anchor more fully into your life and into your foundational basis within your home. So this is a period that is going to highlight the balance between like keeping your internal peace and maintaining that peace within your family as well. So maybe you are, of course, in Libra, you are like an harmony keeper, you are the peacekeeper. Do not try to smooth over some conflicts at the dinner table while the holidays are taking place. Do not try to coordinate everyone's plans or the family plans, just go with the flow. With Mars involved here in the 4th house, it can definitely inject a little bit of frustration within your home sphere and within your family and within the people that you live with together. So it's also, Mars in the 4th, it can make family or your partner become a little bit more reactive, a bit more frustrated, a bit more opinionated, a little bit more demanding as usual. So be mindful of your limits and also avoid getting like pulled into debates around the family table. So The fourth is also, yeah, the shift in the fourth, it asks you to protect your energy, your emotional safety. You might need to put up some more boundaries. You might need to choose where your attention goes to, during this time. So possible outcomes of all this energy in the fourth is, of course, a potential for like changing up your living situation. Maybe you might need to put in or invest more time into your family matters. You might start a home project in which you want to improve it. Maybe you want to create more emotional routines that are going to support your emotional well-being. It's also very good for establishing like healthier habits and family dynamics as well. Some of you are going to feel ready to disconnect from like all the unnecessary noise and reconnect with yourself more deeply and intentionally, like make a space at home where you can retreat a little bit and where you can reflect, because the fourth house is also about the past, past conversations or past conflicts with family might be re-triggered or might be coming back up again in order for them to get resolved. And it's actually, you need to put a lot of intentions and plant new seeds and building a more peaceful home environment so that your inner world actually feels as balanced as the world you try to maintain very closely around you. So with Mercury also in the fourth, and your chart ruler Venus is of course also in the fourth, and part of this triple conjunction is going to be major. It happens in the fourth house, which is an angular house. It's going to be, it's at the bottom of the chart, very sensitive, so it's definitely going to be a major new start. And if you want to move and relocate, that is definitely in the cards here for you, because with the opposition to Jupiter in the 10th, it has been expanding your reputation, your career trajectory. Maybe you've been put in a higher leadership or position of authority in some kind of way. And with that comes maybe an opportunity to like increase your ambition, and maybe you've been getting a new job or a whole lot of increase in your workload, and that is of course affecting your home basis. So maybe some of you are going to move, and by that gaining a new career momentum, or maybe your career gains momentum, and maybe because of that you need to move. That is definitely a possibility here for you, my dear Libra. And on January the 9th, the sun and the moon are going to make a closing square, and the moon will be in your sign Libra. So I think around those days you're going to become particularly, there's going to be like a heightened sensitivity around all the themes about your career and your home situation. So that is definitely a day to keep in mind, or keep your eyes open for, as it can definitely give clues about where you're headed in life right now. So making a square to your sun, moon, and rising, important aspects happening in angular houses, like your whole foundational structure of the chart gets triggered here. Your identity, your home situation, your relationships, but definitely your career trajectory as well. So let me know what happens. Do not go overboard with family expectations. Really draw some lines. Maybe this can be a new start where you are shedding some ancestral patterns as well. That is definitely a very big possibility here for you, my dear Libra. And with Mars in the fourth, don't engage too much in conflicts with family members. With Mercury there as well. There's going to be an increased and heightened theme of conversating with family members. It's very special that this aligns through the holidays for you, my dear Libra. And with your chart ruler in the fourth, you can definitely beautify your surroundings, and there can be like a whole new start taking place within your self and within your actual home where you live in. So let me know what happens for you, my dear Libra, and wish you good luck. We have Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising. What's up, my dear Scorpio? So we're going to have a triple conjunction that is going to happen in the sign of Capricorn in your third house. So for you, it makes a sextile. So there are opportunities for improvement, definitely, to say the least, but you need to take action in order to really, really totally benefit from that. So in December, the planetary energy saw a very big buildup happening into your second house. Your Your second house is, of course, money, values, self-worth, and yeah, personal security and the things you own and possess. And then that has happened before everything shifts into your third house of communication, planning, learning, your daily coordination, your local environment, your neighbors, your siblings. Conversations, contracts are all found within the third house. So December really highlighted your resources and also encouraged you to get clear on what stability means for you. And you might feel motivated to like reorganize your budget, maybe you made some financial plans for the new year, maybe you checked yourself around what makes, like maybe you've checked in with yourself, what makes you feel safe and secure. With Sag here, it's about freedom as well in all these matters. But as everything moves now into the third house in January, the focus is now becoming much more social, much more communicative, way more busy. Like whenever we have such a planetary mashup in the third house, you can feel like life is pretty hectic and very, very busy. Your values and your priorities from the second really are going to become part of a lot of conversations and are going to become very influential in the decisions that you're about to make. Also how you connect with others, how you speak to others. You may be having more conversations. Maybe your inbox was full, your DMs are like overblown, and maybe you needed to like reschedule or put a lot of effort in your schedule so everything runs smoothly. You might be meeting up more with people from your immediate environment. You might also be planning a lot of activities, some short distance trips. The third house, it is an increase in mental activity. Good for brainstorming, for learning, networking, strengthening your communication skills, and the enthusiasm that you build into the second now turns into a lot of the determination to take action on your ideas and plans for the long term. It's in the sign of Capricorn. So the third can also include some kind of speaking project, writing project. Maybe you're going to sign a new contract in regards to that as well. If you're someone who's podcasting or blogging or something like that, that is very beneficial. The third house is the house where we use our mind and speak our voice. So, it's also going to highlight which people in your immediate the people that you're surrounded with in your immediate environment, if they support the choices that you're going to be making here in regards to the third house. Step back from those who drain your energy or maybe challenge your priority. With Mars in the third house, your words can become a little bit more like, be careful, because your words can really become weapons. Luckily, I say this because Mars is, of course, your ancient chart ruler, and it's pretty important because it makes an opposition to Jupiter as well. So you can you can find yourself be a little bit more explosive with words. And that is something that you need to be a little bit more mindful about. Your mind is going to be on fire. It's going to be racing. It's going to react quite fast. It's going to become more reactive, more triggering. But luckily Venus is there to smooth over some of these issues. So set healthy boundaries and do it in a gentle way. Great time to express your ideas, clarify your needs, reconnect with a sense of confidence within your own voice. So that is actually very beautiful here. You're gonna start a new learning project. You can really start a course of study, especially with opposition to Jupiter in the 9th house. That is about learning, teaching, studying. So for you, it's like the mental axis is getting stimulated, like the conscious brain, but also your belief system within the 9th. It's getting expanded. You can study something that can massively expand your worldview, or like you look on the future. So that's also very positive. So with that, with taking a new study, you can also refine your communication style. You can connect with people who share your values. You can get new certifications. You can even get new job opportunities. You're going to develop your skills. It's going to bring a very socially busy period. So yeah, your involvement within your local community might also see like an increase. Do not go overboard, pace yourselves. The sign of Capricorn is hard work, but step by step. And also, yeah, make sure that you have all the energy and the resources, and that you don't go to a burnout. Mars in the 3rd house can really be very, very fiery and feisty for your mind. And then with the Sun and Venus and Mercury as well, like with Mercury in the 3rd house, you can really sign a very beneficial new contract. And Mercury, of course, rules your 8th house, and it also rules your 9th house. So definitely a lot of conversations with networks, with your friendships, and that can even lead to like an increase of money in that. So yeah, really make good use of this energy, as it is very, very beneficial and very, very rare. A triple conjunction in the 3rd with the opposition to Jupiter expanding and amplifying everything. Yeah, you can have like a new bright outlook on the future that is getting installed by these double Cazimi. So yeah, enjoy that energy and I wish you good luck. We have Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So, my dear Sagittarius, we're gonna have a triple conjunction in the sign of Capricorn, and for you that happens within your 2nd house of money values. And the big theme is that through the entire month of December, we had a planetary buildup within your sign of Sagittarius. So you're definitely been very, very implicated by December's energy. And first is, of course, about your identity and your personal momentum. And now everything is like shifting into the 2nd house of money values and your long-term stability. So December brought like a very big surge of energy. You might feel more inspired, more adventurous, more eager to connect to your sense, to like the sense of possibility and your own potential being really strongly highlighted. So that brought like a whole new chapter that lighted up your personal goals and really encouraged you to take the initiative and take on a whole new identity. So you felt more expressive, more enthusiastic, as you are as my fellow fire sign. And others are also gonna like notice that you're seeking more approval maybe than usual, or more, you're being more out there in the open, and you might have attracted a lot of people reaching out to you, making a lot of plans, look up to you for your wisdom and your leadership. And that is really like amplifying the dynamic. Very, very busy, lively tone of the build-up energy in the sign of Sag. But now as it switches into your 2nd house in January, all of this renewed enthusiasm and excitement needs to be grounded in something tangible and practical and something for the long term. So this spark of the 1st house is gonna be very welcoming energy to take into the 2nd house to build more stability and to invest in yourself and create a sense of personal security that supports your freedom. Perfect time here and a really rare opportunity to make some new financial plans. Look at your budget, clarify what you truly value. If you want to add a new stream of income, that is definitely a possibility here. If you're looking for a new job, definitely in the cards here for you, my dear Sag. And yeah, set some powerful intentions within your money sphere for the year ahead. So yeah, the 2nd, it is about resources, income, or like the foundation of what you want to grow. It is what you possess and also what's feeding you in the 2nd house. So and Capricorn really encourages you to take your passions and your self-worth and your skills and your talents very seriously and turn inspiration into something tangible and practical within the sign of Capricorn. So yeah, you might notice during this time that your confidence is going to grow very noticeably. The 1st really, yeah, the 1st house focused energy and Sag, it helped you to reconnect with yourself and also your abilities and your confidence. And the 2nd really helping you to recognize your worth and how you want to use your resources and how you want to grow new resources. So you might feel very ready now to invest more in yourself and in your goals and to refine your skills and talents and also make choices that actually reflect a stronger sense of self-value. So the key here with Capricorn, it is sustainable effort. Sagittarius is it's like wildfire, but with Mars now and in the second, also be careful not to lose any money. I know when Mars enters the second, there can be like cuts and severs. Mars cuts, severs ties to money issues as well. So be a little bit mindful. Do not take any big risks right now with the opposition to Jupiter in the 8th. With Jupiter in the 8th, a lot of money can be coming in, but be flying out as fast as well. So pace yourself, and that is going to help you to make steady progress in the sign of Capricorn in the second house without like risking burnout. But this definitely, if you do not take any big risks right now, there's going to be financial improvements from planting new seeds and adding a new stream of income. There can be new income opportunities, renewed sense of direction in regards to your financial axis here between the second and the 8th house. So you can start a new project, launch a new business idea, and also, you can actually make a large purchase or an investment that is going to help you to support your independence, and maybe set clearer boundaries who has access to your money and who doesn't, with the opposition to Jupiter in the 8th. But it's going to help you to ground your fire into something tangible and lasting and practical, and it's going to help you to step into the new year with a lot of renewed confidence and purpose. So very, very beneficial energy for you here, my dear Sag. With Venus in the second alone, it's like an increase in financial matters and new opportunities coming onto your path. Very, very beneficial for your money situation. And with the opposition to Jupiter, which is of course your chart ruler in the 8th, you can even see an increase in money due to your shared finances. I think you're gonna start some kind of new stream of income, which is gonna add towards like your shared finances with your partner. And with Jupiter in the 8th, even your partner can have a lot of luck with money as well. So it goes both ways here. But the second and the 8th house axis, it is the give and take axis. And a whole new seed is being planted in that. So that is actually very beneficial for you, my dear Sag. So let me know what happens, and I wish you the best of luck. We have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So, my dear Capricorns, you are the star of today's show because we're going to have a triple conjunction in your sign. So, in your first house, if you're a rising sign, it's going to be a whole new rebranding of your identity. If it's on your sun sign, there can be an increase in your vitality and also career momentum that is building. And then if it's conjunct your moon, something very beautifully can happen in regards to your home life, where you live, or some important female figure in your life, or something emotionally very, very abundantly happening. So pretty interesting and rare, profound energy here happening for you, my dear Capricorn. And like through the entire month of December, the stellium that we're seeing here now in Capricorn has been building up into the sign of Sag. So it has been building up in your 12th house. It is the house of solitude and rest and spirituality and the subconscious. And all of that energy was implicated into the month of December. And now, before it moved in your first house of identity. So the first house, it is also about visibility and your personal direction and like a rebranding of your personal image. So December was very deeply reflective for you. The 12th, when it gets activated, it brings heightened intuition, more need for solitude and rest, a lot of creativity behind the scenes, a lot of emotional awareness about the subconscious. You were feeling pulled inward towards healing, towards some private projects that maybe require to focus away from all the noise in the world. But definitely that was like the perfect time for meditation and tending to matters that actually live beneath the surface of your everyday life. But as the energy now is going to shift into your first house in January, your inner work really begins to translate into outward momentum. So maybe December has been a little bit more of a quieter, reflective month, but brace yourselves, my dear Capricorn, that is about to change. We are already in Capricorn season. The sun has already shifted into the sign of Capricorn, but brace yourself. As of the first week of January, all the other planets are going to follow. And that, of course, Venus is also already in Sagittarius as we speak right now. That is already magnifying and highlighting your personal magnetism. But yeah, the themes that actually surfaced very privately in December and now in January, they're going to become part of your conscious new identity. So you might feel more energized, more connected to what you truly want. A very powerful reset moment, a very, very rare one. The last time we had a triple conjunction in Capricorn was somewhere around the year 800, if I remember correctly. So yeah, we do not have a lot of historic data to look back on. So this is really like going to be a whole new chapter in your life, something you've never experienced before. So yeah, your ambition is resurfacing. You're going to become way more visible, way more engaged in the world again. It's going to be such a big vibe shift from December to January. And all these creative ideas that were born in solitude now are going to be ready to be shared with the world. Everything that you develop behind the scene now can be shared or can, yeah, be taken more shape in a public way. Your confidence and your drive is increasing, and then it's going to be very, very sharp with Mars moving over your rising sign. So you're going to be feisty, you're going to have a burst of energy, you're going to be more reactive, you're going to act more upon your desires. But your inner world and your outer world are here directly linked with one another. So the more that you tend to your emotional well-being, and you're going to have proof of that in the near future, the more you tend to your emotional well-being, the stronger and more grounded your outward expression is going to become. So you might gain a lot of clarity about where you're going to be headed in the next year. You've gained clarity about your hidden subconscious fears and what to work on now in the next year. And how these behaviors have been like quietly influencing your behavior. Now there's like a whole new reset happening for you. So you're ready to like release or rewire them. So the shift from the from the 12th to the 1st, it marks an end of like a chapter, and there's like there's going to be an emergence of a more authentic version of yourself. So it's really like an invitation to step forward without like all the dead weight that you've released in the 12th house. Trust the quiet truths that you've uncovered in the entire month of December. And with triple conjunction in your sign, new powerful personal insights, a renewed sense of purpose, increased motivation, the start of a whole set new of goals. You're undergo a very meaningful like shift in image and how people see you, how you present yourself to the world, how you communicate, how you move through the world. If you want to launch a new personal project, this is like the time to do that. You can adopt a whole new routine. You can feel more connected to yourself after like a period of like introspection. So yeah, honor the healing that you've done and confidently step into like a new cycle of visibility, leadership, and self-determination. So you can be placed into a higher place of leadership, position of authority. You're gonna like fully embody all the wisdom that you've gained. So this is like very, very spectacular. And with the opposition to Jupiter in your 7th house, there's definitely luck coming through other people now onto your path. So maybe you want to launch something new, but maybe you do not know how or when or who to help you, and suddenly someone bumps onto your path at the right time, at the exact moment that you need them to. So that is actually quite profound, and in the cards here for you, other people are going to help you with this rebranding. So yeah, very positive energy. Take on help from other people. I know, my dear Capricorn, that you are such a hard worker. You want to do everything yourself. You're very structured, very disciplined, very responsible. But if other people want to help you to gain momentum in what you're building right now, let them, because they can prove to be of big, big luck for you. So yeah, let me know what happens for you, because yeah, it's happening in your sign. We've never seen this before. And I'm actually quite curious how this will play out for you on a personal level. So yeah, I wish you good luck. We're having Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. We're gonna have a triple conjunction happening into the sign of Capricorn, and for you, that is in the 12th house. So through the entire month of December, there has been a planetary buildup happening into the sign of Sag in your 11th house, and that is the house of friendships, your social sphere, your networks, your community, your long-term aspirations. All of that happened before all of this energy is going to shift into Capricorn in your 12th house in January. And the 12th house is, of course, about retreat, rest, and subconscious. And like the beautiful part is that Saturn is in your second house still. It's going to make sextiles towards you. So, of course, Saturn is your ancient ruler. Later in the month, all of these planets are going to make a trine towards Aquarius. Uranus in your 4th house, which of course rules Aquarius. So yeah, this is actually very, very positive energy for you, my Aquarius. And I think you're one of the signs that is going to benefit greatly from rest and retreat and from like self-reflection during the month of January. You're going to have some very striking insights that can be handed to you through dreams, through synchronicities, through spirit guides that are like whispering inside of your ear. Really notice your patterns and your dreams that are coming up, because they might very well be setting you free. And the 12th house is about releasing old baggage from the subconscious. So December, yeah, it was very socially active for you with all the planets in the 11th. You were probably gathering or coordinating a lot of events, supporting friends, group activities, a lot of invites, messages, and it could have felt very exciting and energizing, but it could also feel like it was a lot to manage all at once, especially if people lean a little bit more on you than you expect first. But as everything is going to move into Capricorn in January and it's going to enter the house of like the behind the scenes energy, January is going to be a little bit more quieter and a bit more introspective than usual, or it's like just an introspective phase. So make use of that, reflect, retreat, rest, hibernate, and all of the outward busyness is gonna give way for more solitude and spiritual processing in January. So you might crave more silence, more space alone to think and to recharge. December could have felt a little bit overstimulating, and now being in a private setting is going to become more appealing to you. So you might step back a little bit from social circles temporarily to just like recalibrate your energy and to like recharge the battery. And there might be a lot of like melancholy, reflecting on recent interactions, or reflecting on the past year. And the shift, it is not a withdrawal, it is more like a conscious recalibration of like your whole internal private system. So it's a time to also like start to examine themes about like your belonging in the world and emotional overwhelm, and like your psychic sensitivity is going to be massively heightened with this triple conjunction. And you can definitely have a lot of synchronicities that are going to push you onto the right path, because it makes an opposition to Jupiter in the 6th, and Jupiter in the 6th has been like over amplifying your job or your work schedule. You probably had a lot of things you had to deal with, a lot of increased busyness within your job, within your co-workers, a lot of, just like Jupiter in the 6th, it just like gives you a lot of work. And now the opposition to the 12th with Capricorn there says that maybe reflecting and retreating from time to time is actually beneficial and helpful to your productivity. Otherwise, you're gonna be a little bit burned out. But December really highlighted also where all of the friendship dynamics, which one felt a little bit unsustainable, you might feel a little bit responsible for like managing everything that went on in your friend group. But January is going to really help you to process all of that more deeply. It's going to become quite, obvious what people or which people drain you and what roles do you take on in groups. But with the triple conjunction in the 12th, you're gonna step back maybe from a certain group. Maybe you're gonna recognize which friendships are aligned, and you might put in some hard work behind the scenes at or to a private project that is gonna become more public later in the year. You're gonna experience like a burst of like wanting to just be in peace and quietness to reshape or recalibrate your priorities, and then what feels good for you and your nervous system and your spiritual mission as well is going to be strongly highlighted. It's just like, simply said, you're going to put in a lot of hard work in your spiritual purpose and in your spiritual evolution, and by that you can actually shed a lot of self-sabotaging behavior as well. That is also going to become quite obvious to you, and you can like really let that go, and that is going to be very beneficial for the rest of 2026. And also, what you start preparing behind the scenes now, if it's something major, that can like fully go off, because in February all the planets are gonna move in Aquarius, and we're gonna have a stellium of 5 planets in your sign in February. That is so good for testing new things, new skills, new ideas, new structures in your life. Just like, it's gonna be a very innovative new time that is going to be like embursted with a lot of change for you, my dear Aquarius. So it's going to light up your first house dramatically in February. So what begins in silence and very private in January is going to become very visible and very powerful, and like very self-defining, and by that creating a whole new identity once the stellium moves into the first house in January. So yeah, just prepare yourself for that and enjoy the silence and the quietness right now, because things are going to start to move quite fast, and there's going to be a lot of change coming to you into the month of February. And then we're also going to have our eclipse at 28 degrees of Aquarius squaring Uranus. That is going to happen on the 17th of February. So prepare yourself for that. You're already going to notice its effect kicking in quite soon. So be ready, embrace yourself. Uranus and Aquarius, the planet and the sign of the liberator, and setting you free. It's going to create a massive push in February for you. So enjoy that energy. Even though it's going to be a little bit volatile, I think it's going to be very, very... very, very liberating for you, Aquarius. And I think a lot of you might even move or break away from certain family dynamics, on some expectations within your role, within your family as well. So something to be mindful about and look forward to as well. So good luck, my dear Aquarius. We have Pisces Sun, Moon, or Rising. How are you doing, my dear Pisces? We're going to have a triple conjunction in the sign of Capricorn, and for you that happens into the 11th house, so very socially active. But through the month of December, this planetary mashup has been building up into the sign of Sagittarius, and for you that was happening in your 10th house. So definitely something that's changed in regards to your career or your reputation, or something shifted or gained momentum within your public role before everything now is going to move into your 11th house. And the 11th is, of course, your social sphere. It's about your long-term goals, your social networks, your friend groups. So December really brought this urge of energy towards your ambitions and towards your visibility. All of that massively increased and expanded into the sign of Sagittarius. And maybe you had to take on more parental roles or responsibilities as well. You might felt very motivated to step into a role with, or you were giving a role with more authority, and it can definitely be a period of public recognition in December. So Maybe you've gotten a promotion, a professional praise, simply feeling more confident about like the impact that you're making in your job or in your career trajectory. But the energy really speaks like an elevated sense of purpose and also redefining of what success means to you. But now as we move into the month of January, all the planets are going to make a shift into your 11th house, and the focus expands beyond like these achievements in your career towards like your broader dreams and your aspirations and your friend group. So you might begin to think about what comes next after this increased role in the tent. Now it's about like a new direction, a new goal, or even a new community that supports your vision. You can bump into a lot of like-minded people. You can also enter a space where your talents or your role in social media can reach a larger audience. There's an invitation to actually consider the possibilities that extend beyond what you know is familiar. Something totally new is about to emerge within the 11th house, because we've never seen this triple conjunction taking place in Capricorn in our lifetime. And for you, it makes a sextile, Pisces. So sextiles, they are opportunities, but you need to get into action to grab the opportunity. You do not want to let this one pass by. So it's going to be a time where there's going to be aligned friendships, like-minded people, social connections are going to become increasingly important to you. You're going to be surrounded by people who actually are going to share your hopes and your dreams and your values, and maybe even your passion for creating a big change within your community or within society. If you are someone who's in politics, wow, this can mean like a major increase and like gaining momentum and all of these teams as well. So the energy is very future oriented for you. It's very collaborative as well. So it's not just what do I want to achieve, but who will I achieve this with together? And your like-minded people and your tribe is going to help you with that. The right team, the right people, the right community, they can really accelerate your progress in a very dramatic way. But with Mars involved, there can be some drama being found or stirred within the friend groups as well. Maybe friends are going to display a little bit of a bigger ego inside of the group, and maybe you might need the one to tell them like, don't go overboard with that. Avoid getting pulled into like discussing politics with your friends. Maybe that's not the best idea, but definitely you can take on a leadership role and you can really like express your opinion quite strongly, but I don't know if others are going to take it so well. So yeah, you might need to assert some boundaries within your friend groups, or some friends are not going to totally. With Jupiter in the 5th house, you're going to be you're feeling very inclined to like express this new version of you. Saturn and Neptune are about to leave your sign. Jupiter is making a trine towards your sun, moon, or rising. You are increasing your wisdom. Your fun is being amplified, and you can like really share that within your community and within your groups of people. So yeah, you can launch a new public project in regards to collaborations or community, and with that, you're going to develop a whole vision for your next long-term goal. So yeah, doors are going to be opening within like your social sphere, and others might be starting like to plant seeds for something for you to like also fully emerge within together. In a new community initiative, a creative collaboration, but your social visibility is definitely increasing. Definitely go networking. It's going to pay off dramatically, and your ambitions are going to grow bigger than they've been in years, and that is going to really be helpful for the next year of 2026. So yeah, I wish you good luck, my dear Pisces. All right, that was it for today. Thank you guys all so much for joining. I wish you all a happy holidays as I'm filming this on December the 23rd. I'm not sure when I'm gonna release it, but definitely enjoy the Gregorian New Year. Just a little reminder that the new the real new year actually happens when Aries season kicks off in the spring for the Northern Hemisphere. But apart from that, let's all just enjoy. But just don't like go too overboard with like your New Year resolutions, because we are actually in a time of hibernation. We are in a time of resting, like here, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, like the light is now slowly gonna start to return, but we're in the 6 dark weeks, like there's not a lot of light. So don't pressure yourself. Capricorn is about hard work, and you can get a lot of hard work done, but also make some time and room for enjoying and resting and nesting and cocooning, because we're gonna have a new moon in Cancer, full moon, excuse me, in Cancer on January the 3rd. So yeah, that is really about like getting into our pajamas and snuggling and cuddling with the people we love. So yeah, just enjoy these darker days. Do not let the darkness overwhelm you. This like the light always returns. And I'm actually even, I think it's one of the first years where I'm actually really enjoying the more cozy, darker days and being able to snuggle up and just rest some more. I think after this spectacular year of 2025, we are all very, very much deserving of that. So yeah, I wish you a happy new year, and I will see you back soon. Bye bye.